You're listening to the Go Lightly Martial Hour on freedomtalkradio.net. freedomtalkradio.net.
What's the shortest cable you could buy?
I've no idea. You want to say hello?
Hello.
Alright guys, we're on air. Oh, we're on air.
We're on air, are we?
Yeah, we had a good
worries,
weekend and we are back on the air. It is, what's the date today? Monday. And it is July the 27th, 2015. 11 years ago today, I touched down. The angels had told me 7/7 would be your breakthrough, and I'd fly at the end of July. So they arranged a ticket for me to fly on the 25th of July, which was 7/7, and then touchdown in Australia, 27th of July. Hello, and have not looked back. Out of there. All right, out of the darkness and into the light. That's what it's all about. Hello, Hirad. Over in the chat room already. Good to have you there. And I think John and the others are coming on over to join you. Now, the painting behind me, because we wanted to just stop that light from coming in. Anyway, it's called Cool Reflections.
Is it?
Yes,
Oh,
Cool Reflections. Well, you wouldn't. I painted it before. It was one of the many that I painted. Actually, I think this was
I painted 3 yourself?
the first freeform. I called it the freeform after doing the geometric designs and things. Cool Reflections. And I actually... Oh, 27 is your number, is it, Hero? Good one. Yeah, I mixed the colours to match again another bedspread. In the apartment. 8:01 it was. The rebirth hour. No, not the rebirth hour. The birth hour. The Star of Bethlehem. June the 17th, 2 BC. Anyway, all good for the good. So, what have we got today?
Well, we've got the miracle of New Guinea, which is
Unfolding.
We got to the point of desperation there because everything was getting so mixed up. And we end up broke, of course, which is normal. But what I wanted to do originally was to spread the cure for AIDS and malaria and all these other dreadful nasties that the world order has given these native people up there. Looks like we can do that now because it's we've gone ahead and developed better and more efficient ways of doing it over the 7 years since we were there the first time around. And something happened in a little village in Port Moresby where the first man I cured, Jamie, who later with his wife cured a lot of people.
Oh yes, they treated
And
multitudes.
Jamie had a dream, because he had AIDS, he had a dream that the Lord was coming and would heal him 2 months before we arrived. And when we arrived, we had a little car we bought and we put on the back of it, Jesus is back and blah, 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 and got the cure for AIDS. Right? Well, this, of course, was very objectionable to a lot of people. To the point where they said people might even smash it as we drove along.
Yes.
So that was didn't make any difference to me. But however, Jamie's wife, who was working for
Salvation Army.
the Salvation Army and for World Vision, wasn't it?
No, it was Salvation Army.
Yeah, but one that she wouldn't get paid for, World Vision.
Well, that's right. World Vision weren't paying them.
So she'd worked for 3 months and she's supposed to be getting 100.
No, it was 50 kina a week or something.
50 kina a week, something pathetic. And she did all the accountancy and so forth for up to 3 months at a time. They wouldn't pay her. This is World Vision that you're putting all your money into. And of course, the head of World Vision is on 400,000 or 500,000 a year working out of New York or something. So it's all bullshit, as we know. To monitor the progress of cures that they don't want you to get.
Because I actually went to their head office in
So
Sydney.
you pay the World Vision that you think that's going to help these starving or people dying of diseases around the world, and the head office guru is getting $400,000-$600,000 a year, or maybe more now. That was back then. And they're monitoring what's going on, and of course the Red Cross is owned by the Rothschilds, and who is also monitoring what's going on. That's why the cures for malaria that was tested out in Uganda, everyone who, of 140 or 50 people of a little village had malaria, and they tried the Jim Humble formula, which was to put it in glasses of water, and they drank it, and the next day only a few weren't cured. Till the next day after that, the second round, they had to take some more water, and then all of them people were cured. Let us say it was a number like 147.
It was 154, the first report.
154.
That was all videotaped.
So it was all videotaped, and Red Cross was monitoring it and so forth. And later on, the monitoring results was suddenly to vanish, and the results through the Red Cross wouldn't confirm this was the case, because the biggest killer in the world of the native population is malaria. So little babies die of these parasites that get in the brain, the liver, and they go mad and all sorts of things. So it's a lovely little disease for the lovely people in charge of all this, the Zionists, to reduce the world population and do it in a cruel way, because not only does it cause a great deal of stress on the people, but once you get it, you can't get rid of it. And you see a little baby dying, and if they reach 5 years of age, they're doing very well. So a mosquito, which was manufactured, and I say manufactured because this is a reality, they were a flying hypodermic. Now, we have talked about this before, but there are other mosquitoes that you put in the same area that eat the larvae of the malaria mosquito, and they live off the vegetation. So they don't require the same environment as the malaria mosquito, and as a result they can even lay eggs on a lawn that's been cut, and then when the moisture or rain or dew will develop the mosquito, and it'll fly off and then look for other mosquitoes to eat, and in the water the larvae. So there was also little fish. I was reading up on this morning again.
There's many fish that will eat the larvae.
There's a place just near here which produces the fish that eat the larvae of mosquitoes. And of course, this is not spread. I mean, you can knock out malaria in a couple of months if you put your mind to it.
Also, you've said before that kerosene on the water.
Yeah, if you're in an area where there's malaria, the problem with malaria is that you can have little ponds, you can have an old tyre or anything like that, and they'll breed in that. But in the bigger areas, all you do is, let's say you've got a 1,000 by 1,000 metres or something, a lake or something like that with mosquitoes into it, and all you do is just throw in 5 gallons of kerosene, diesel, it's the same thing, and it'll spread a tiny layer of material across the top. So when the little mosquito comes up, the breathing mechanism is on the rear end. And luckily it's not like that in humans. And it breathes in and I've seen it, I've done it myself, I've done experiments. And just with ordinary mosquitoes when I was down in Sydney. And I had a pool at the back of the house which became mosquitoes got into it, and I put a little bit of kerosene on it, and you see the little mosquito come up, the larvae, and whoop, back down again. Well, pretty soon, within a few minutes, they run out of air and they die. So that's how you clean out your swimming pool with, just don't put any other chemical in it, just throw the bit of kerosene or diesel into the thing and it goes across the top and kills them. So another country, they call it paraffin, I think. But in any case, it's oil-based. So New Guinea has been my dream for several reasons. When I'm born, for example, you do the measurements from Jupiter to the Saturn, inwards to the Sun. Two things, my body weight as a man of 222 pounds, weight on all those planets, is the same number as the area of the Shroud of Turin, 7353 pounds. 171 by 43 inches is the full size with a strip attached to it, which has only been discovered recently. It's actually two pieces of cloth, which I've been telling the researchers for 20 bloody years. And say, oh look, we discovered it last year. It is. Anyhow, the distance out in astronomical units, and an astronomical unit is the distance to the Sun. The average distance the Earth is from the Sun. Say around 94 million, 2 miles, million miles. 94 million miles. Something like that. So the combined distances to these distant planets and the inner planets, from measuring from Jupiter, because Jupiter is 88,800 miles wide, Jesus group Gematria, and the sunrise to moonrise from my birth, 888 minutes, and on it goes, as you know the story. However, it was 31.68 astronomical units. So when New Guinea, which was being preyed upon by the British under the auspices of run by Australia, which is the greatest monsters of all time, there's been more people killed in Australia from going into wars with America and England, and you name it, they're in there, and Australians are getting killed in droves, all volunteers in most cases, supporting these beasts, which is the biblical Joseph and Manasseh from the Genesis story. Now, Australians, although they appear to be nice, they are very intelligent. Don't underestimate Australians when it comes to being smart. 1 year I was in the Inventors Association, and we took out the 100 top inventions, rather the 20 top of the 100 top inventions in the world. So they are very clever. And in East Timor, under the Indonesians' threat, which were massacring the people up there because there's oil off the coast, the Australians went up there to encourage these Timors to come out of the bush and vote. And of course, on voting day, the Australians were pulled out, the people come out the bush to vote, and the Indonesians come in with their weapons and shot them all. This is Australia. The Bali bombing, for example, where there was 200 and somewhat people blown, burnt, legs blown off, blinded, you name it, was authorised by the Prime Minister of Australia, because the CIA wanted to go in there, because the Australians had to be pulled into line with the New World Order terrorism. Oh, that was all John Howard. To implement the Patriot Act after 9/11. That's right. So that's all to do with that. And then another one was a young fella who was mentally ill and retarded, and he was the one who was supposed to shot dead 32 people at Port Arthur with a rifle that he had hired or bought the week before, which is all bullshit, and shot them all from the hip with headshots, when the actual witnesses say there were 6 Israelis. Shooting from the hip. See, a marksman can shoot from the hip, someone 20 or 30 feet away, and get you wherever because they're experts at it. This is how they hit. They don't have to pick something up to aim. They just shoot from the hip. One shot in the head. 32 people they killed. Again, John Howard's watch. Right? Greatest monster of all time. This John Howard, I only ever seen 2 politicians in my life. One was Bob Menzies, who wanted to bring the Australian currency and call it the Royal. He was a member of the Order of the Garter, which is one of the ones where everyone's up each other's arse to the top in the Queen's...
William is the 1000th.
William is the 1000th ray of light of the Order of the Garter, point of light, mentioned by George Bush Senior, who at the same time was bringing in the Noahide laws in America, which were going to guillotine you, and that's what all the FEMA camps are all about, and they got guillotines them. And there's one order from China of, I'm getting a bit off the track, aren't I?
Yes, totally.
And 30,000 in Montana were found.
Train cars,
3 layers with guillotines on them, to be used for rounding up all you Americans, and hopefully I'll get a few Jews as well, but probably won't. Just like the Twin Towers come down, there's no Jews in that either. These all happen to be off the dead. That's some religious...
Yeah, it's getting right away from Papua New Guinea.
Well, it is, isn't it? So, Papua New Guinea. So on 31.68, which is Lord Jesus Christ in Greek Gematria, when it becomes independent from these monsters in Australia, who still monitor the AIDS program, 9 of them are in Australia, of the 12, on the AIDS Council, and because when I spoke to them, they hang up on the phone.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. I ring them up down here.
In Melbourne.
Hang up on them.
Yes, I'd found out who it was. Stephen, what was his last
Barlow.
name? No, it wasn't Barlow. It was Stephen...
Grant.
No. Stephen, the guy that...
Whatever.
ran the place. Yeah.
You've got a couple of million a year.
Not interested in the cure, only education. That's what he said. We're only interested in educating people about AIDS, not the cure.
And then... all right, so we now have, of course, all these people in New Guinea who have progressively been dying. I haven't been able to do anything about it up until now, because now we've developed a cure that can be in a capsule as opposed to something that takes 14 days, mixes together, and you can't do that to Highland natives because these people don't have the facilities, and it costs to do that. You've got to have people that are trained to be able to do that. Whereas now we can take one capsule and that's it. Mm. Right? So you can be an absolute moron, take a capsule and there's your AIDS is gone, or your malaria, or anything else you got for that matter. And this is all thanks to Jim Humble. And his treatment, of course, is a fellow doing in America that was tried, and he's got 36 years in jail for using this particular method that Jim Humble was using. So look it up.
Daniel Smith. Now, Daniel, of course, what Jim Humble had to say was that he had the lawyers he'd hired really had no defence for him. Literally handed it over to the prosecution. It was total bullshit, and he is being made an example of because the MMS is so successful at cleaning the body.
They call it miracle mineral, right? Miracle mineral supplement. Solution
of supplement.
All right, so we don't use
that.
We don't use that.
Sodium chloride. The boys have been making it themselves. Jim Humble has let the world know how to make it yourselves, and Adam Yates has been, so has Dex.
Well, I spoke to Jim Humble by email, and he told me what to do, and that's all I need, right?
And well, that's calcium hypochlorite. The original is the sodium hypochlorite.
The sodium hypochlorite. So I jumped the fence on that and went to another one, which he
suggested, which was the calcium hypochlorite.
That's right. So it doesn't fall into the same category, but it is very, very powerful and tastes like crap. So a kid couldn't get into it, for example, and take it by mistake, right? Which, if they did, it would cure them anyhow. So that's the point. But now the miracle part. Where the original fellow who had seen me in a vision, in a dream, told his wife that the Lord was going to come and heal him. 2 months later, we show up, and when he sees me, he recognises me as being the Lord, right? And he's been saying so ever since.
The man in his dream, that's what he said to Lucy.
That's right, the Lord. So I had no problem with that. So, villages are rich strange. They all are sort of primitive in one way, yet they're still intelligent. But they have traditions, and you've always got a demon that'll stick its head up. In my family, for example, there's one or two or three demons in particular would sway the general opinion against. They regarded me as the most intelligent man they ever met, right? Even though I was a relative. And yet, when I told them something, they wouldn't believe it. To me, is totally flabbergasting. So I'd give up. So this is the story thus far of that a family, and you get a nice person, will usually end up with a demonised person as a husband or wife. And then you'll get a family, quite often, the father or cousin or next door neighbour or whatever will be a demon and will molest the children. Now, in Germany today, I don't know where you got the article there.
Yes, yeah, it's been spread around. People are familiar with it.
Germany's been the focus of attack because they're the ones who were the most righteous during the First World War and leading up to the First World War and the Second World War. Very, very good Christian people, regardless of the fact that some are Catholic and some are Protestant, it doesn't matter. They believe in Jesus. So Hitler, of course, has been demonised, and I'm very upset with Hitler, really. If I'd have been in Hitler's shoes, you'd have things like how many Jews can you fit in a Volkswagen? He designed the Volkswagen, by the way. And you say, oh, 200? No, only 4. No, 200, yeah. 4 in the seats and the rest in the ashtray. That's the old joke that went around, right? Or my father died in a concentration camp. Yeah, we fell off a tower. There's another joke that goes around. But in actual fact, the safest place to be in all of Europe during the war was in the camps. And I've said to you many times that they would not have escaped. The rabbis upwards would not have escaped. And then a mass education program would have been ensued immediately into educating the children, and then the adults would have been sorted out. And what Hitler had in mind was sending them to Madagascar, because none of the other nations would take them, because they are a problem. Right? It's their religion. So when you've got a religion that just damages others, then it's got to go. It's as simple as that. And the worst religion of all is Judaism combined with Christianity, because Christians think that Jesus, hairy-fairy, puffed-out type oil painting that was done by an artist years ago of this flowery pansy Jesus is the one that was bandaged around all around the world as this handsome young fellow. And in actual fact, those are rough-looking arsehole like me. They didn't take no shit. No turn the other cheek. That's for all your Bible, and it's all plagiarised from other books. Goes back into time to the original Essenes, which has also been destroyed and rewritten. And Jesus in that becomes the Son of Man, not the Son of God. He was circumcised and all this kind of stuff. None of it happened. It's all bullshit, right? So even the Gospels that are drawn from the Essenes, the Essene originals have been destroyed, rewritten, and then you have it complementing the Gospels. So the Gospels came first, the Essenes come second of the rewrite based on the Gospel. When the Gospels originally were supposed to be of the original Essenes, and they were changed by the Jews who took over the church, and the Catholic Church in particular, from day one. 312 AD, that era. So what you end up with is a total line of bullshit, but the trap is the 1611 King James Bible, because Edward de Vere and King James were the smart ones in it. They knew, and he left clues. Wherefore art thou red and thine apparel, Isaiah 63, is directly talking about Jesus coming back dressed in white, because his garment has been totally covered with the crushed blood of the human being that is as tall as the horse's bridle, which is Megiddo, which is the Armageddon, which is coming up on the 28th of September. Write that number down. This year, when I'm 71.717629 years old. 629 Redeemer, 717 is that Armageddon. So watch out. Run for the hills. So what we have then is the 1611 King James Bible, and just as you got your Bible program running there? Bring up Matthew 13:33, and we'll do a little talk about that. And getting back to New Guinea, all my aim was to come up with a solution that I can control from here and tell the people they don't have to go to the post box. They can pick the chemical up, which I recommend to them to use to kill off every disease known to mankind, in the local pill store. And they can't eradicate that, nor would they want to. The Jews might like to be able to do that, New World Order, but unfortunately, business is business. It's money. So if you've got a swimming pool, you've got to have this particular chemical. You can't get rid of it. And it's already got tons of it in New Guinea, so they can't even try to get rid of it. So I don't read it out now.
All right, Matthew 13:33. This came up in a communication with Adam Yates again. His understanding of it was clarified by Yahweh because it was totally the opposite.
Well, he suffers from thick plankitis.
Occasionally. All right, Matthew 13:33. Another parable spake he unto them. The kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal, till the whole was leavened.
So what does that mean? Where is Lord's Prayer? Do you want to just recite the Lord's Prayer for us?
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on the earth as it was in heaven.
That's good. All right, so with the kingdom that they're talking about here that Jesus is predicting is coming to the earth. Right? So a woman, what's the woman? Well, there's only one father, there's only one male in all of creation. It's all male. God. That's it. Male. Everyone else has a female soul. You might have genitalia that resembles the dick hanging from Jesus. However, that is only for reproduction. The soul is female. Right? So I'm sorry, fellas. When I first told the Jews about this, were they upset? Oh, because they're a sexual cult. I said, well, forget it. Right? You got a female soul. Right? And you're going to be screwed, all right? And you're going to be screwed by Jesus. That's me. Right? With a new name, the Comforter, the God, the Holy Ghost, the Father. I'm here. That's it. Pack your bags, you're out of here. That's why I was a little bit cross with Hitler. However, what it all boils down to is that there are 3 major religions. So the Jews are the Sadducees and the Pharisees. So if you type in there the word leaven, right, it comes up. It's fizzled, isn't it?
Oh, it does this a lot. Typical.
Let's start another one. Yeah, baby. It's all right, you got both counts. That's good. So type in there leaven. It comes up on them
20
times.
20 times.
20 times, all right. Starts off in Exodus.
Yeah. We'll go to Matthew. The first one is Matthew 13:13, so I'll go to the next one.
Now, it's going to explain what leaven is. Now,
then, this is Matthew 16:6. Then Jesus said unto them, take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. Next one, Matthew 16:11. How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that you should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? Then 16:12. Then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. Then Mark 8:15. And he charged them, saying, take heed, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the leaven of Herod. Then Luke 12:1. In the meantime, when there were gathered together an innumerable multitude of people, insomuch that they trod one upon another, he began to say unto his disciples, first of all, beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. Luke 13:21. It is like leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal, till the whole was leavened. And then it goes on, 1 Corinthians 5:6, your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ our Passover is sacrificed for us. Therefore let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
There's your word, unleavened.
Unleavened.
So you got a woman who hid secrecy, which is when someone hid something, right? To do what? To make the bread, what? Unedible. Because even if I today eat leavened bread, I'm sick. It's got to be unleavened. Right? All right, so what's the word for woman? Lucifer. Because there's only one Father, that is God, that is me. Right? The Y chromosome. So, darling, look up the word dragon. I married a couple of dragons. Why not there?
Found 18 times.
Right, Revelation's good.
Over to the Rev. Starts in 12:3. Is that there?
Right, read them there.
And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads.
All right, so that's the Vatican. It's also looking from the descending passage of the Great Pyramid prior to the shifting of the axis of the Earth, which occurred just as we approached and went after the date of December the 11th, 2011, when we crossed the equatorial line of the Milky Way galaxy, which is 100,000 light years wide. What's 100,000 times pi? Pi, hello. You get pi. 1 times pi is pi. So the distance around is pi. And that's what it is. We've got to work it out in miles if you like, or kilometres, whatever you like. It's pi.
And
axis shifted.
Revelation 12.
Dragon is now cast to the earth. The dragon surrounded the small star right beside Alpha Polaris, which is the North Star in old terms for the last couple of thousand years. And the small star is YBS 286, which is the displacement factor of the Great Pyramid. It means land. So, towards my eyes are God. Pyramid, looking up the eye, out into space, the telescope if you like, looking at the star, which was Alpha Polaris, surrounded by 120 degrees of Draco. It's got a red dot for its eye. Right? And it's cast to the earth. Why? How? Well, suddenly it's no longer in the focal point of the descending passage. Right? And the God part, towards my eyes are God, is the Alpha Polaris, the North Star. And right beside that, you can't hardly see it, there's YBS 286, which is a lamb, so it's a lamb of God. Lamb of God, lamb of God, lamb of God. Which comes to the earth, down the descending passage, into Jerusalem mentioned by the prior, go back to 2 BC, and the crucifixion, all that to do with that. And what's saying is this: the lamb goes to the cross because within the lamb is the soul of God. So, Some say it's a spirit that's in the soul. Well, that's true. The soul is a spirit. So Jesus bleeds to death on the cross. All the blood comes out. It's gone. Into the tomb. Shroud of Turin. Comes back in. Goes through. And what happened was there was 100 pounds of ointment surrounding the body. And then the shroud was quite flat. I mean, the Shroud of Turin researchers are so stupid. So how did it happen? Like, it's a miracle. So as the soul leaves the body from the cross, it comes back in, surrounding completely, either side of the shroud, back. That's why you've got an image that's straight on, from front and back, as a photograph of an old man. That's why when they developed the image, it found to be a negative, became a positive. If you know anything about photography, look it up. So there's an old man looking at you. Why? Because it's a soul that is worn on the outside, which goes back to Isaiah, which is the white cloth that is stained red, as if you were treading around in a vat full of red grapes. Right? You would, wearing white, you would get covered in it. And that's what the parable is all about. In this case, it was a prophecy, and it's a fact. It's more than a parable, it's a fact. It's a prophecy. It's happened. So I come back to the earth wearing the white garment, and all the saints are represented by the outside of the Great Pyramid, which are 144,000 white alabaster blocks. Alabaster is limestone. Right? So limestone, when you put an arc between a piece of limestone and a carbon, and you put a voltage of DC current across it, it'll burn the limestone at 444 degrees Celsius and produce a very bright light. And this is where the term limelight comes from, which was developed in England on the vaudeville stages, and actual Charlie Chaplin, who knew all about it because he was English, came to America and he had his film he wrote and starred in called Limelight. So it's very interesting how it all comes about. However, the saints, there's 144,000 of them, are also in white because they are white because of the blood of the lamb that was slain on the cross that transferred the soul of God back around through the shroud. And that's why the image is on the outside, not the inside, gentlemen. I'm sorry, don't know what you're talking about. And that is why the spear went in the left side, not the right, because you got it backwards. And now my reward is with me for you, which is the white garment. Because you've already took up your cross, which it says in the old times, to take up your cross and follow me. We're not here to shag women and all that kind of stuff, or women shag men. Right? Nothing to do with that. The righteous mind, or your soul we're talking about here, and your soul of righteousness, right? That gets you into the paradise of thy kingdom come on the earth. So we got what? We have a dragon. We look up the word dragon, we look up the number for dragon in a Strong's Concordance. What is it? You can read it out, Alan.
Let's go to...
Anyway, it's in New Testament.
Yeah. The dragon was wroth with the woman, right. So we'll go over. That number is 1404, which is the Gematria of the verse 1333.
Exactly the point.
Yes.
So why is that so? Well, we're going to find out who the dragon is. Well, the dragon is Lucifer, the woman. There's no male demon. It's all females. So therefore, that's why you got those homosexuality and all that kind of stuff they're pushing around the world. So what's it all mean? Well, the word Lord that Moses was yapping to, must be very boring for the poor bastard, right? Wandering around the desert, and this Lord is yapping to him daily, do this, do that, kill a man he picked up from sticks on Saturday, you know? And all this kind of bullshit that is in the books called the Torah, which is the leaven of the Bible. Shouldn't be there from a point of view of righteousness. So you've got Exodus, didn't happen, bullshit. We've got Deuteronomy, Leviticus and Numbers. In that, there's 1,404 times the word Lord is found, which is the dragon talking about in the book of Revelation, 1404.
So just going back to clarify, this is the verse, another parable spake he unto them, the kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal, till the whole was leavened. So the Gematria, the whole verse is 1404. That's the Gematria for the verse, which is the word dragon. So it's Jesus explaining that the kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, which is a corruption. Leaven is a corruption. It's doctrinal corruption. So what's he saying? Well, it's hid, so it's put in there, so it's not found in 3 measures of meal. Well, what is meal? Meal is something that you end up eating, you consume it. Eating it ends up being a bread of some kind that you are eating. Well, think about the 3 measures of meal today. What have we got that everybody's eating up? Well, you've got Judaism, the Talmud, you've got Islamism and their Quran, and you've got the Bible today, Christianity, that have been perverted and corrupted by the leaven, the corruption of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. So the kingdom is divided. And as Jesus, he said over and over, how can a kingdom stand when it is divided against itself? 36,000 denominations of the Protestant churches. Hello? So the kingdom of heaven is divided. It's impossible to have the kingdom of heaven when there is division within it. And heaven being that condition of paradise that is the dream of the baby. And we explained this to Adam. The baby's dreaming up his way out of the womb, which was dark and lonely. His thought, the perfect parents, beginning with the father. From within the father comes the mother, Asherah. And together they, the conversation, we will make man and woman in our image. So it's the dream of the baby, the perfect thought of the baby that brings forth the creation, because the baby is all intelligence. And so then the baby, through the father, comes to the earth and is resident, conceived within the Virgin Mary, September the 11th in 3 BC, to be born to the earth.
Well, we heard that number before.
June the 17th, 2 BC, to live, the father living his life as the Son, known as the Son. Emmanuel, the prophecy of Isaiah 7:14, Emmanuel, meaning God with us, but known as Jesus, the Son of God, not the Son of Man, the Son of God.
Nothing to do with Adam. So we're coming from the Adam and Eve parable. It's like this. And if you don't do as you're told, you're going to get kicked out of paradise, right? And because Adam, he doesn't tell Eve not to do this and blah, blah. When you work it all out, it's all Adam's fault, right? So the female, the mitochondria, if you like, of all human beings, it's a creation, right? A mature creation is what they call it. So you didn't have to call out this backside of a cease like 3.5 billion years ago, which according to the Jews is how you've got to do it, because they control all evolution and all the universities. They control everything, right? You just don't realise it. Even though they might proclaim to be Christians, they're not, they're Jews. So the point being, out of all this mayhem emerged a higher level of deceit, which is Zionism. Total insanity, but it certainly fitted the objective of killing off everybody on the earth, so they come up with all these diseases, and that's why they keep doing it. So I've already exposed the straw man thing, that your birth certificate is sold into bondage and it's traded on the stock market to back up currency. So when you die, whoever owns your birth certificate, you're the straw man, you're dead, you've got no soul because you're a straw man. you die, and the money, billions in some cases, in my case, and millions for others, goes to the banker that owns your birth certificate, or state. Australia itself used to invest £1 million, a lot of money, when I was a young fella. And who knows how long that continued. So the Australian government is as corrupt and as evil, as more so, I think, than America and England, because they know what's going on and they keep the app shut. No? They're evil bastards. So this is the kind of religion. So the Jews are the scapegoat. There's a scapegoat prophecy. What's a scapegoat? Well, you send a scapegoat out to get torn to bits by wild animals out in the bush, out in the desert, to amend for the sins of others. Right? So you send a scapegoat out. Well, the average Jew is a scapegoat. They're too stupid to realise it. They don't even know their own Bible. Right? They're the scapegoat. Someone's got to be it. They're it. So the Zionists above them control all governments worldwide and blame the Jews for everything. When the Jews are probably more Christian than Christianity is. Because at least they're waiting for a bloody Messiah. They don't realise it's me, that's all. So all they've got to be doing is educated up to know the deceit of what Christianity has done to them, which they have, and what Zion is above that has caused that to happen, which is all Lucifer, the god that they think that they've got to be tithing to, as they say in New Guinea, tithe to the God of Israel. Hello. And they're not Israel in the first place. They're Khazars, they're Mongolians. You're better off just forget that, go back to bloody Mongolia if you want your homeland. That's where you come from.
Well, apparently that's what the Ukraine was all about. They realised that they came from the area of the Ukraine.
You've got layers and layers and layers of bullshit and confusion that no way are they going to accept me. Well, you're not going to get a choice in the matter. It's not an election. I'm here. That's the end of it. Right? So let's go back to what I started out talking about, the miracle of New Guinea. We've already got the one where Jamie saw me and said that the Lord was coming, was going to heal him, and then I showed up, he recognised me, and we know the story. So when we were sending our man as a last-ditch effort to try and raise some cash in New Guinea, because we can't do things without cash, and there's no one. There's only Andrew and a few others that have sent a few dollars our way. Andrew is a main contributor. He's relentlessly helping and supporting us. And without him, we'd have been in deep shit. As we turn out, that the people that were surrounding our man, who is the brother-in-law of the man that saw the vision of me coming, now he's got it in his high horse that if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here, like me and my buddy here. Then this is the whole bloody point. They start to get their own gratification out of saying, well, it was me who did it. No, it wasn't, asshole. Right? So what they did, they ganged up on our man, took our money, which was actually Andrew's money, right, sent him off to bloody another place where he didn't want to go.
No, they didn't take the money, but they ganged up on him so much.
They influenced him.
Well, they influenced him to go a place that he wasn't directed to go to.
They was going to stop him getting the money.
And they were trying to stop him by influencing.
All right, so this is all hit the fan and said, we're out of business, right? So I said to my angels, either get your finger out or I'm out of here and I'm never coming back. That's it. When I say something, I don't back up. Nothing would change my mind. Once I reach that point of being pissed off, that's it. Right, so that's what happened, as you're a witness to. Twice. It happened the first time we went to New Guinea, and that was the second time 7 years later. So I was leaving. That's it. See you later. We're now in debt. We've got to pay Andrew back. We've got our own debt on the bloody motel over there. The car's stuffed. We've got to get that fixed. It was endless. Right? So as it turns out, there's an old fella who was the chief of a tribe in the area, which just happened to be where our man ended up going to because there's nowhere else. It's out in the bush, in the jungle. So he goes out there, and this old guy is sitting on a great deal of wealth in resources. And he'd always refused in a dream, had been told not to get rid of the resources. Well, we're talking heaps and heaps and heaps of money. Right? So, millions. So he wouldn't do it. So his daughter marries a fellow who happens to be a educator, school teacher, from another tribe which is 400 kilometres to the...
And is where our
where
guy comes
Perry,
from.
our first man, was going to go.
Well, it's the family connection.
Family connection.
From
So
the same
here
family.
he is, he goes there, and this old fellow, the chief, because of family connection, and he liked Perry, adopted him as his son. So he hadn't seen him for a very long time. So he said, oh, well, in here, I go see the old man, right? So he goes see the old man. When he sees him, Perry tells him about us. Christ is back, and had papers and photographs and all that kind of thing, which he showed to the people, and to his brother-in-law, or his cousin rather, which had married the old man, the chief's daughter. That's how the family connection, it's all over the country, it's like that.
Yeah. Perry, because our first trip there, I took copies of the apostolic letter that were laminated, and Perry has one along with the laminated photographs of the shroud overlay that Pope Benedict saw and uploaded to his Facebook page. So Perry went and he told the old man, this is who has come to Papua New Guinea, and he was able to show the evidence of the apostolic letter and the photographs, etc.
And the cure for all the diseases.
And plus, the
Which is
cure
what I'm
for the
interested in.
diseases.
I'm not interested in cash, I'm interested in curing the people.
And
I mean, look at it this way. We can sit on our ass here, looking at the lake, nice little swans quacking past, right? We've got a lovely car, lovely house, I've got enough money to live on. I don't have to go anywhere in the world, right? I'm comfortable, I'm old, sit back, right? Concentrate on my prostate. Point is, I don't have to do this shit, right? Except, unfortunately, I happen to be the Lord too, right? Now, being the Lord God does come with a few responsibilities, which is making sure these Jewish bastards do not continue killing off the masses, and all you are all fucked in the head out there with your stupid religions and whatever other ism you are of, right? Well, it's not an election. I'm here. You're going to do it my way, or it's the highway. This is judgment. So we're rolling up to the 28th of September. And that's the blood moon. The blood moon lines up with the blood moon that happened on the crucifixion. That's it. Do the time between the two. You can do calculations like, how long has it taken from that point to that point? Right? I'll be 71.71629 years old. That is the phone number for the clinic originally, which Mary ballsed up when she went over to her homeland, which is Fiji, without making sure that she could get back into the country. Now she'd been there for 30 years, and they wouldn't let her back in, so she ended up losing the phone number.
The phone number's taken by somebody
It's
else.
still there. Now someone else has got it. Doesn't matter. So I will be 71.71, the same number, which is the distance from the clinic to a solar eclipse that happened in 2009 on the 25-degree latitude in the Indian Ocean. You see where we're going? So this is how things are dealt to me over a period of time. A jigsaw puzzle is cut up into a million bits, and I get a little bit now and then, and I've got to assemble it all. And going from a baby human state into the Godhead is a mere acceptance. I always knew it. Don't want to take it on because I had my own expectations of things I should be able to do and couldn't do. And until I reach this point in time now when I am 71 years old, I'm saying, oh yeah, right now I got it, right? I've got it all figured out. Which gives me the power to command angels to do what I want done because I'm being fair and just. That's what the God is, fair and just and full of love. Except for the fucking Jews, right? So, if you're a Jew, it's not happy. You better change your mind real quick. Right? Look at these starry blue eyes. That's it. Get your ass and start moving. Get your finger out of it. That's like the start motor. Right? Get your finger out your ass and you'll start thinking, hello, the God we're worshipping is Lucifer that kills people like in Palestine. Netanyahu, that monster. How he survived a bullet, I've no idea. I've said, well, I was once asked on a radio program in America, if I had the opportunity to go into the Oval Office and there was Obama and Netanyahu, what would I
say? What would you say?
What would you say? And my answer was, can I take an Uzi with a full clip? I said the same thing about Francis and all these clones. All right, so this old man, he finds out that Christ is back.
In Papua New Guinea.
In Papua New Guinea.
Same.
And Perry, his son, works for me and gives him the information, Christ is back and he can cure all the diseases. These are photographs, there's a Pope, blah, 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 blah. Right? So he instantly believes, and as does his son, or son-in-law, who is the doctor, who is a teacher that is married to the old chief's daughter and is a relative of Perry.
And guarding the resources.
Guarding the resources.
That we now have a deposit on.
That we now have a deposit on.
Thank you, Andrew.
Right, thanks to Andrew. So
now,
the old man ups and dies that night.
Well, we don't know exactly when, because what happened was Perry phoned us from.
All right.
From.
Let me rephrase that. Within 48 hours, he's dead.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
This is record of it. I want to stress to people out there, especially those who have been following us for a longer time. This is it. This is the cornerstone for the building of the kingdom. The resources that have now been placed in our hands. Thank you, Andrew. Right, because as you know, I'm the accountant here, and we spend every which way of everything we've got to get things done for the sake of the kingdom. So, we first learned about these resources from the ambassador of the Vatican on our first trip back in June. He tells us about his adventures into the bush because he'd heard about these resources and he wanted to see it for himself. So he went there with the intention to buy the resources. He gets there, the old man is sitting on the resources. It's called 6 foot. It's because it's 6 feet long and weighs 1/4 of a ton. And the old man invites him to sit down. And he says, I was looking around, where is it? And the old man says, well, you're sitting on it. Okay, so, all right. Then the old man says to him, I had a dream last night that I am not to sell this to you. So it was an adventure for the Vatican ambassador, but he went away empty-handed. He's telling us, we walk out and I said, it's being held for us, for you. The Christ comes back, it's yours. Because the point is that he owns it all anyway. You know, people have got their mitts on everything, all the resources. It all belongs to God. Now, he's been gracious to let everybody have their bit, and of course the rich and the greedy stock it all up for them and have everybody else a slave to the system. But the plain fucking truth is, it all belongs to the Christ. It's his. You are his guest at the moment, and the guests are about to be sorted out or evicted from what? The marriage supper of the Lamb. In the
Which
days
goes
ahead.
back to Matthew
33. The leaven, the three major religions that everybody's eating up. It's not a happy. So what have we got? We've got this happening. Our guy, Andrew, sends us what he can spare. We send it over. We were told it's going to go over here in a completely different area, come back and we can get the ball rolling so that we can begin to bring in the resources to build the kingdom of God so that everybody that is his can come together. Where? In Australia.
Australia is a holy city, for fuck's sake.
Right. We don't need to be doing this for ourselves. As you can see, we rent this house. It's very comfortable, but we're communicating. We're already... I'm constantly looking, pulling things in so it can become part of the kingdom. Okay, so this great balls up. We rushed back there last week because Perry's in the bush saying, I'm with it, we've got it, we've paid the deposit, they're happy. So he says, come. We go up there by the time, and then I send another 1,200 kina. God knows how I did. Actually, he doesn't know. I did. I pulled it together to send Perry the rental for a van to go and get a four-wheel drive into the bush and bring it out. So what? So that we can liquidate it and buy the cornerstone
enough money
and have
all the saints to come to Australia.
Totally, and get the cures happening all over Papua New Guinea. And we're telling people, bring your resources in, cash it out, start building up the villages. Your government's not going to do it. God, we wanted God to lead the nation.
Maybe you could start a tour guide business for FEMA camps in America.
Anyway,
that'd be good.
Bottom line is, now we have this, and the guy's saying, phoning Ferry, come and get it, come and get it. Well, I'm just waiting now. I'm going to be talking directly to the guardian over these resources, who already knows that the Christ is back and this is his now. And I'm going to work it out so that we can just go pick it up, liquidate it, and then pay the balance on what they're looking for to go in the old man's bank account. As Perry said, it's going in, the old man who has died, it's going to his bank account, and it's just going to sit there. Anyway, I'll work it all out. But the point is, this is the cornerstone for the building of the kingdom. We've never had this opportunity before, because as you know, the Jews control everything. Hello? But this is it. 2015 is the year of the redeemed. And we want the saints, the true saints, to be here with us, because there is much work to be done to build in cooperation the kingdom of God. Where? In the New Jerusalem, which is Australia.
We have to have a lot of carpenters here to build the scaffolds to hang on fucking politicians and doctors.
Totally. So this is our, as Perry said, this is my struggle. Two natives up there talk about their struggle. This is my struggle. Well, what is Mein Kampf? My struggle, my battle that Hitler had. So this is the struggle right now, bringing it all together on nothing, not even a shoestring, from this end in where we are right now. However,
we could not be more broke. And yet we've got resources worth billions. The whole country of New Guinea is coming our way.
It's all being set up and designed for this time now. The floodgates opening.
When we went up there, we found that the Jews had been in with a new covenant. Holy shit. And they ripped off and are continuing to rip off. So now the word is spreading back through the investors who lost all their money. Never trust a Jew.
Totally. The word is spreading because we've
and Christ is back.
Tithing, cut it off. Cut it off now. Do not give another thing into the hands of the Jews.
Don't even talk to the bastard.
And they're bringing it to us. We want to bring it to you. Why? Because we're not taking it from them. We are taking it to liquidate on their behalf, to pour back into their villages. And what the kingdom needs is a small portion off the top of that for the service that we're actually providing the service. Because till this point, they've been getting half of what it's worth, and so they haven't been bringing it into anybody because they're only getting half of what they know the market value to be worth.
You know, whether it be any resource that's valueless unless you've got a sale for it. And then you can do something with the commodities cash it's generating to go back into as a trade item to buy. For example, we're going to put up a generation plant. They've got coal up there, fuck's sake. And they said to me, oh, we've got all this coal, right? What are you going to do with coal? Australia is half coal, for a start. Right? It's on the coast, straight into a ship. You can't take it from the highlands of bloody New Guinea down to the coast to sell it to a Chinaman. Right? Because that's what I was thinking. I said, no, you generate your own electricity where it is. Right? And you develop the central part of the country because you have your own resources to go into making electricity, which you can put into all sorts of projects. Once you've got the electricity, it's easy. Or you tap the rivers, not by damming them, but by putting much more efficient, putting little turbines in the water, and as the water flows past, it turns the turbine. Then it flows to the next turbine, turns the turbine. Goes to the next turbine, turns that turbine. And it goes to you get 1,000 of them in a river. It doesn't slow the river down. Still falling at the same rate, and you generate electricity. That's what I was telling them when they were down in Port Moresby last week. You don't need all that. So he's fucking intelligence, right? So this is what my part in the thing is to go and look it all over and say, this is what you've got to do. You've got the cash now, you've got a bit of gold, sell that off. You've got enough currency, buy yourself a bloody helicopter or whatever it is you want. Right? Start a flying doctor service so you can go from place to place. You can set up all these clinics where you can heal people for next to nothing. You don't need a building, you just need a pill. Right? Set up schools where people are educated properly, with me teaching them what the hell's going on in this world. Right? We can do that with a couple of videos, don't have to be there. And these are people that are 96% Christian. Judaism Christians. They've got to get the Judaism shit out of it. And you've got yourself true Christians, which are likened to the original Essenes, that are healers and want to heal the nation. And that's why they have a day set aside, for they want Christ to come to run their country, to govern their country. Right? What have they got now? One, the Prime Minister, and half Australian native fellow. 780 million he's ripped off. All the politicians, except for one, he's probably dead now, have ripped off the government. Resources. They've got oil, they've got natural gas, they've got gold, they've got bloody silver, they've got iron ore, they've got coal, all these things that can be for an infrastructure. Australia's the same. I mean, Australia's richer than New Guinea per head of population. But we've been screwed up the arse all the time because all the resources are owned by individuals, corporations, which are Zionists. Right? Now, Pope Francis said one thing was encouraging last week. You're going to do away with all corporations. That's when he got that out of the Vatican III that I gave to Pope Benedict. You got a copy of it? Of course, yes, it's on the internet.
All right, there's quite a few people in the chat room. We haven't said hello this morning as we've been having our, and we are overtime.
Doesn't matter about overtime.
Yeah, no. Hello to Vinny and to Patrick who have been in there, and Ross popped in to say hello, and Diana, of course, and John Hall and John Lynch. Yes, guys. So, for those of you who are new, like Vinny, it takes the cooperative effort of those made in the image of God to build the kingdom along with him. He is the wonderful counselor, Almighty God the Father, who gives counsel. But he's not the one that's actually physically doing the work. That's not possible. And, you know, he's exposed all. His part has been to come into hell and really shine the light on the maggots within the putrescent body, expose who the enemy of all mankind is, prove to the world over and over with mountains of evidence who he is, and then we go about building the kingdom. There is much work that needs to be done. It's not a glory hallelujah in the twinkling of an eye that everything's restored back to the creation.
On a millennium scale, it's a moment. What we've been able to achieve in a very, very short period of time is a moment on the main scale of creation. They talk of 6,000 years of human creation. Right? What we've done, us two little sausages together, has stirred up a hornet's nest because we are the truth. The light sets you free. The truth, the light and the way. Isn't that there we go?
Way, the truth and the light.
Yeah, I said something like that. I've forgotten, I'm getting old.
Anyway, guys, that's what it's all about. So, yes, it's all very exciting, and I just need to bring it all together. It'll be...
Look, all I look forward to once a week is an enema. That's why I bought her the face mask, right? And a raincoat.
Look, I think we need to listen to the choir. I've got to listen to the choir.
We're going to talk to anybody in here?
Well, listen, what I wanted to read, I know I've posted it on the Facebook, but this is interesting. This was Chuka's private communication.
Read it.
That actually got through the YouTube. This is amazing.
First off, we can't contact Chuka, and he can't contact us.
I know.
Because he knows us very well. He's lived with us for a while. He's
just
a saint, a wonderful man.
He's only a couple of 100 kilometres away down outside of Brisbane, and yet we can't contact him. All right. He said, I sent him a message 2 weeks ago. Are you okay? Just bring me an update. He has been set upon. Actually, the last his brakes were cut. The cable. This is how much
brake linings were cut.
They want to get rid of Chuka. It was a new car too. He saved up just to come up and see us. Great car. He goes out. He was parked in a shopping centre parking lot, and no brakes. The cable had been cut. Now Chuka is the quietest young man, but he's extremely creative, and he has, like Joel, made a lot of videos that really bring it home.
Absolutely.
They're brilliant, and he takes so much time and care over it. He said, I take it you haven't been getting my messages. I got your message about 2 weeks ago. That's one saying, are you okay? It doesn't have a date on it, and the reply buttons are all messed up. I'll copy and paste parts of the messages to what I've been sending. Good to see you back home. I'm getting whole pages of questions written as assignments about you. I think they are planning on or have already gathered what I have to say so that it can be used by someone else or in a different way. It's hard to trust anyone on board, which is part the reason why I don't communicate to anyone else much. It's a bit of a mind game issue when to determine synchronicity compared to something set up or not at all. It becomes obvious sometimes, and not the mind games they want to bring about by making me think I need to answer everyone who has too many questions. If people can't see your image on the shroud, or understand math, or understand coincidence, or understand common sense, then it's hard for me to take them seriously. The internet has been shocking lately, hollow-netted as you say. The latest videos from last month are coming out as a segmented image. Any other video that is downloaded on the net doesn't have sliced rectangle images. It's very weird to see. It's been hard enough as it is to take downloads. Takes hours for one video, and I can't access anything else while it's on. And uploading is just a knot in a tree. I've been up to my neck in computer problems. I had to buy a new monitor and various computer parts because of all the weird occurrences. I've been poisoned twice lately. The first time I kept going in and out of consciousness constantly and couldn't walk. My heart painful, it was horrific, and I couldn't go to the hospital because I know what gets set up there, so I waited it out and a few days later recovered, but lost a lot of weight, which I've been trying to put on. So I'm back to square one. When you guys were playing the My Boomerang Won't Come Back song, it reminded me of when I had the main part to perform as the abo in primary school. We went to a proper stage show and I had to paint my arms, legs and face black and hold a spear with one leg resting on my thigh like a seagull. Probably get fined these days for attempting to do a black face. Still working on some songs and equipment. I was mentioning about the greatest gift I could have got was knowing who both of you are. I had a joke as to why Jews go cross-eyed when in front of orange juice, because on it said concentrate. Also had a joke for the future. What's the difference between Jews and Santa? Santa goes down the chimney. Also was going on about if Mars didn't even have the exact amount of water poured onto the Earth, the measurement of the countries would have been different. The synchronicity of it at the same moment, seeing on YouTube that Tom Selleck was getting grieved about using town water for his avocados. And then he says, anagrams for Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall. I am Lord, heal all light grabs many. He goes smart on gnarly billiard hall. Oh light grand slam, all by real iron. Mars, roll her, hold, fall, trying again. Swedge worship the beast, which is an animal. They put themselves lower than an animal, yet Swedge demand people who are not like them to be put in a status of less than an animal. That's the reason they state it. It's a jealousy thing, so that no one can be higher than their level. It would be pointless otherwise. If we were all human, there would be no need to state humans as anything other. So to me, it's recognition of who we are that sets the path. Thank you for still checking in to see how I'm doing. It means a lot. No matter how many times you have to repeat yourself, no matter how many demons abuse, no matter what the odds are, never give up. You are not alone because I, like many, believe in you. Thank you, Chuka. And Chuka's, he's such a quiet, gentle soul, unbelievable. And before he started communicating with us, he found us and then he began following all of the health protocols that we've done down through the years, Fiji, and he's used every single one of them to overcome his own physical ailments that were brought about by all kinds of things. Plus his own fear of going outside the house, literally. He saved up for more than a year to buy a decent vehicle that he knew would be safe to come and visit us. And it's the first time literally outside his apartment. But anyway, he took the 5-hour drive to get here. That was his walk outside, just to come and meet God and spend a few weeks here with us. So, good on Chuka. And he was being poisoned twice. Now, Karen is another one. I know she's been watching, and I did send another... are you okay, Karen?
Got a husband for you, Karen.
Yes. Anyway, it's all good for the good, and thanks, guys, for being in the
6'4".
in the chat room again. I have a couple. There's a couple of ladies.
Karen there, is she?
No. But anyway, so we're working on getting this kingdom, the cornerstone for the kingdom, secured and in place, liquidated.
It's like as certain as the sun comes up tomorrow, right?
Right.
So, I mean, the opposition is soon to be out of here.
Yeah, all good for the good. And yes, guys, so think about all of your skills. What it takes to run a kingdom. Mechanics, maintenance.
Well,
Intelligence. Yes, the builders, the carpenters.
So you don't need accountants and all that kind of bullshit.
we want the workers. The ones with all
practical thinking people.
Practical,
right?
like Yah can do anything. Well, that's what he likes in
You've got a computer to do all the accountancy for you.
Oh, good. And
it's called MyOp.
Yes. Hello to Mark. I saw all of your comments there. Mark, there's back. Actually, you had a question that it's going back in. It's soon to be all over, Mark. And yeah, he said it's been poisoning since birth. Yes, John Lynch, can't wait.
I had a dog with a hair lip once.
You had a dog with a hair lip, did you?
Used to market me.
I used to market you. Oh, very funny. It's time to go, guys. Seriously. Yes, John Lynch, can't wait. Can't wait to have you all out here. This has been even before I found, because I had no idea that I was Martha Magdalene. It was simply the soul drive to find the Christ on the earth. And I knew when I found him I'd like be his best man, his right-hand man. And but even before I began looking for the Christ on the earth, for years before, it was in me, no matter what shit was going down around me in the life that I had to lead, there was always this desire, the place of refuge, the place where everybody could come to and be restored and then go back out into the world to do what needed to be done.
If they wanted.
If they wanted to. Otherwise, can't. And this place of refuge where we're not living all on top of each other, but we have the property where houses can be built for each family.
What's that movie where they were all robots? All the women were robots.
Oh, that Smallville?
Hmm?
Smallville? With Nicole Kidman, all the women were robots.
Yeah.
So Smallville or something? Or No, something about some Stepford Wives. Stepford Wives.
It's going to be a bit like that for you fellas out there. No, the houses.
Oh, the houses.
The houses are all magnificent.
Yes.
I mean, there are places like that in America, I can assure you.
And Canada, yes.
And Canada. But everyone will have a magnificent mansion. It won't be in those little shack with corrugated bloody iron. Right? It'll be magnificent. With a magnificent car. Right? Maybe your own helicopter. Whatever you want. That's the kind of paradise I'm bringing to the earth. Right? For the chosen elect. Yeah. So, there you go.
A whole fleet of Bell 222s.
So the amount of money that has been ripped off from each nation is so extraordinary. They're at a point now where they've got so much of it, they don't know what to do with it.
Well, it's all hidden in bank accounts, and it's going to get burned.
What's it good about having $1 trillion in a bank account?
8 trillion.
Well, whatever the case
Throughout the politicians,
what's
this
the
is what
point?
we're told.
What is
They've
the
hidden
point?
it away for themselves, and they're going to die.
You eat 1 or 2 meals, 3 meals a day, have 1 shit or 2 shits, depending on how old you are, which I can vouch for that. And all your little kids running around happy, going to nice schools, being educated properly. Religion is a thing of the past. Right? Religion's bullshit. Just truth and wisdom is all you need. Right?
Yes.
So that's what's coming. Now, what goes with that is immortality. You're going to heaven. Unfortunately, it's been occupied by hell. Demons. Right? So, the Lord's Prayer, just say it slowly to yourself and put it in the context of when it was said and what it is today. Thy will be done on earth. Thy will be done on earth. Thy will be done on earth, right? Did I not promise that? That's what's going to happen. Biggest is here. Marshall's back in town. Very scary.
Very scary.
Listen, my little deputy here.
Oh, yeah. Deputy Marshall is scarier than the big goon.
There's no go lightly with her.
No, totally. Whack. Ton of bricks. Bullshit. It's important to straighten out, to make things straight so that this is how we've ended up in the shit that we have. Bullshit. From the cross being bandied about and... Anyway, let's move on. It's time. Let's go.
It's
82
time.
minutes. It's over. Speaking of which, we'll be back tomorrow. I want to read John Lynch, your account of how it was when you met you and the others, and Mark as well, and anybody else out there. If you've got your story, you've already told yours a little. We'll read them on one of the shows.
Yeah, this all has a common denominator, doesn't it? Some strange events that happen that cause people to go blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing because it keeps everybody out who aren't part of it.
Totally. Well,
it's like a parable. Things were told in parables because the ones that you don't want to understand won't understand.
That's right.
Like the leaven.
The leaven. The leaven of the bread. It's not a good thing. Leaven is not good. All right, we're going. Finally. Later Gators. Thank you all for being in the chat room once more, and we'll be back tomorrow, unless we're not.
If we're not, we're not. If we are, we are.
Yeah, totally. Because if we're not,
you
it's
never
all
know
good.
what happens with us.
Yes, if it's not, it's all good. All right, bye guys.